Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is the Blues Brothers for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. The Blues Brothers are an American blues and soul review band founded in 1978 by comedians Dan Aykroyd and the late John Belushi, who met and began collaborating as original cast members on Saturday Night Live. Believe it or not, the Blues Brothers did not originate on SNL. The Blues Brothers had worked on this outside of Saturday Night Live, and they first appeared as the Blues Brothers as the opening act for comedian Steve Martin. Steve Martin would later appear on Saturday Night Live as a host, and the Blues Brothers would be the musical guests for the episode that he hosted. Interestingly, the Blues Brothers is... How do I put this? It really feels less like a comedy act and more like a blues and soul review band. I mean, sure, you have the comedic stuff going on with the late John Belushi as well as Dan Aykroyd, but turns out there were quite a few musicians involved in this, such as Steve Cropper, Donald Duck Dunn, Matt Murphy, Blue Marini, Tom Malone, and Alan Rubin. They were the actual band. So they had some pretty big talent behind them. Meanwhile, Elwood would play an harmonica that he carried on stage in a briefcase handcuffed to his wrist, and Jake Blues would be the lead singer. They even had an album, Briefcase Full of Blues, that was released in 1978, and they also opened for the Grateful Dead at the closing of the Winterland Arena in San Francisco. There was the Blue Brothers film in 1980, there was the 1988 World Tour, and there was Blues Brothers 2000, which came out in 1998. John Belushi may have passed on from a drug overdose in 1982, but Dan Aykroyd and company still presses on, even as some of the original session musicians, such as Donald Duck Dunn and Lou Marini, have since passed on. And believe it or not, the Blues Brothers actually got a few video games thanks to French developer Titus at the time, and this is one of them. This particular one, I actually didn't grow up with. I was exposed to the NES game when I was a kid, which was a long time ago. I didn't know about the Super Nintendo game until much later. And from what I've seen of it, it's pretty interesting, to say the least. I mean, you play as either Elwood or Jake, and you just go through a bunch of levels that all feel like obstacle courses of some sort. And if you know what you're doing, you can get through the levels pretty quickly. And if you really know what you're doing, you can get through this entire game in an hour or less. Anyway, it says select for option. Press select for option, and it's just the choice between stereo and mono. And you can just select between them with select and then confirm and go back with start. They really weren't lying when they said select for option. There's only one option. This is all you get. There's 34 levels. You don't have any way of getting back to where you left off in case you turn the game off, or if you lose all your lives and all your continues. Yes, you who have limited continues in this game. And if either of those things happen, you're going straight back to the beginning of the game. So no passwords, no nothing. And, well, might as well go ahead and press start to play. And when you do, you can press select to select between Jake, who is the shorter of the duo. He can run faster, but he doesn't jump as high as Elwood. Elwood is the taller of the two, and while he can jump higher, he does not move as fast. And if you have both characters highlighted, you can do a simultaneous two-player mode, where both of you are on the same screen at the same time. Player 1 will be Elwood, player 2 will be Jake, as far as I can tell. I'm going to be playing as Elwood because that's who I used in the Try It Out Tuesday playthrough on X, formerly Twitter. I will never call that site X ever again. I apologize. And once you have who you have selected, you can then press start. And it's now time for stage 1, and I might as well go ahead and pause the game to explain things and also tell you what's going on here. So, we have our heads up display in the top of the screen, showing who we're playing as. The number of records you have is how much ammunition you can throw at the enemies. They're the only way that you can defeat enemies. Pressing X will allow you to fire a record at an enemy. You can also press A, but I usually press X. B jumps, holding Y lets you run at the cost of being a little more slippery than when you're walking. Left and right let you move left and right. And of course, down lets you duck down. You start out with 5 lives. I believe you have either 2 or 3 continues when you start the game out, so want to make sure you get as many lives as you possible and try not to die a whole lot. And to the right of all that, well, actually, before I mention the time, you do have health. It's in the form of those 7 hearts below the record and life count. You lose all your hearts, you're losing a life, and you're going back to either the beginning of the stage or the checkpoint, whichever one you've reached. And to the right of all that is the amount of time that you have, and you only have 100 seconds, and well, I had to wait a few just to pause the game, which is annoying to me, so had to be careful about that. And I might as well go ahead and mention some stuff. I had to throw the records at some bugs with X or A. While they aren't instant death, they do take a little bit of health away from you, and they will knock you into spikes. The spikes are not instant death, but it's still not good to be in them either way. The first 2 platforms that are swinging around, they swing back and forth, but the third one spins around in a complete circle. And the note that I picked up is a checkpoint. If I die at any point in this stage, I'll go back to the checkpoint instead of the beginning of the stage. Also, that little red jukebox thing below me, if I can get to it, that is health. And I can, not health, it's invincibility. I'm kind of wishing for health after taking all that damage. And that'll allow me to get past the ball and chain with the spiked ball that's moving around even faster than any of the wooden platforms with even more relative ease. And yes, I had to make a running jump to get off the spikes and back to where I needed to be. So yeah, the small red jukebox is invincibility, not health. And the goal is the big yellow jukebox, the big gold jukebox that you'll see in the stage. You grab that, or you run into it rather, and you will end the stage and go on to the next one. Anyways, time for stage 2. We have some things that will make our life easier. If I can run and jump to get this, that'd be great. I picked up some hearts. Now, when you start a new stage, you do have a full set of 7 hearts, but you can refill at least one of them with a small heart. The cake makes you ultra buff, and it also gives you an extra hit. That extra hit also keeps you from losing any of your health. If you want to get your extra hit back, you're going to need to grab another cake, or ice cream as the game's manual itself calls it, and you'll have to pick that up. You can't stack ice creams, so yeah, you only get one extra hit. And the Blues Brothers doll gave me an extra life. To grab the one that I got, you had to be doing a running jump while you're big. Also, there are mushrooms. And if you hold down the jump button while you're on them, you'll get extra height on the second bounce and thereafter. By the way, you can charge up your there we go. You can charge up your record shots if you hold X or A. When you do that, the record icon on your heads-up display will spin, and while it's spinning as fast as it can, you can release the button and do a super shot. It does cost 5 records to perform a super shot, so you need to be careful and watch your ammo. And apparently, if you know what you're doing, you should be able to get that extra life by performing a really big jump off of that mushroom. But good luck with that. I can't do it. Anyway, it's time for Stage 3. And Stage 3 has some new enemies, these snails. They take 2 hits to the feet, as opposed to the one that the bugs take. Also, those little vacuum cleaner looking things from Stage 2, they take 2 hits to the feet with regular shots. And then there are these things. I hate these things. They're bear traps. You have to duck to hit them. And they take 3 hits to the feet, which makes them utterly annoying. Not surprisingly, you're going to be seeing them a lot throughout the game. Also, if you're wondering how I'm getting around anywhere, 1, I'm continuously holding B. Are you serious? 1, you respawn, and 2, you take away my extra hit. How dare you? I forgot what I was talking about. Well, okay. Bleh. Are you serious? Get away from me! There are mushrooms in the trees, and I'm holding B down. That last mushroom, even though I'm holding B, I still have to bounce on it one more time just to get up here, which always catches me out. I don't like it. And you want to be careful on that platform there, because there's a bug that's going to catch you out. That was more annoying than I wanted it to be. Anyway, Stage 4. We get a little bit of a change of scenery and things get a little more interesting, I guess. Yeah, if you go down from here and then make your way to right, you'll be able to get to this little area here. And you'll be able to get yourself some more time and some more records. There is electricity coursing through here, by the way. If you touch any of it, it's instant death. Also, this is a platform. This is a trampoline, much like the mushrooms from the earlier levels. If you see any big chains, immediately press up. I wasn't low enough. Immediately press up to grab onto them. So that way, you can grab onto them and then climb your way down to wherever you need to go. And thankfully, I was a little more decisive about all that. It's a good thing I got that extra life earlier in the game. Whew. Sorry about the silence, just had to concentrate right there. This game expects you to get pretty good pretty quickly. This game does not mess around. Also, you better be ready to make running jumps the whole time, or else you're not going to have a good time playing this. Just saying. Not going down there because there's nothing but records. Actually, I do have to go over there. It's the only way I can get through here. Well, I might as well mention it. You can crawl with down left or down right, and yes, you can run while crouching. Now you just need to be careful. I am so glad I did not fall into a pit. Like I said, be careful. You do have knockback. And other things that can befall you. You are not costing me another life game. We are not going to go through with this. Stage 5. And thankfully, this one's a little better, but it's even more of an obstacle course. Let's go ahead and get rid of anybody that we can while we can. There's some health there if you need it. Might as well go ahead and grab this just to be on the safe side. Pretty much not, there's not much to the right from where the spikes are. How dare you? But at least there's extra time if you fall down and you need to make your way back. All right. We did it that time. Once you get to the platform with the golden jukebox, just run to the left. Don't worry about the bug. And there's stage 6. Cool, I managed to pause it in time. Things are going to get a little more interesting as we go through this game. And even though these stages can be short, they can also be pretty difficult, especially later in the game. So as a result, I'm going to see if I can play 4 or 5 stages at a time through each video, just to make things a little more interesting and also to kind of get through this as quickly as possible. So join me next time where I start playing from stage 6 and see if we can get to stage 10. Should be able to, but well, you never know. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!